Hello everyone, my name is Justin. I'm a returning officer for these elections. Thank you so much for joining us for the MUSA 2025 General Election Debate. Today's session is for the Head of Finance role, and this debate serves as a platform to encourage open dialogue, interaction between you and your candidates, helping you to make an informed decision before voting. So before we begin, just a few gentle reminders for everyone joining us either in person. Let's keep this session professional, respectful, and inclusive, and please refrain from raising any overly sensitive topics or personal issues. So, short briefing on how this session will take place. We will first start by the opening statements given by the candidates, followed by the structured debate segment led by the existing office bearer, and then we will have the live Q&A section from the audience or the YouTube live, and we will close with the closing remarks by the candidates. So with that, I'd like to start by handing it over first to the candidates for their opening remarks. Apritas can start first.
Every single year, multiple hundreds of thousands of ringgits, six-figure budgets that the FD has to handle each year. These budgets do not forgive mistakes, they do not tolerate weakness, and obviously they do not bend for excuses. These are the responsibilities that me and Jovin are ready to endure and handle and take as next year FDs if we are elected. Good morning, everyone, attendees of today's debate, online and offline, MUSA members, returning officer Justin, and of course, Takuman Yosuke, thank you for attending today's debate. First and foremost, we would like to share our three key qualities that we will bring to the table if we are elected. First, listening to treasurers. Our first manifesto is to focus on feedback of treasurers to ensure that their voices are heard and their experiences improve. We have already spoken with close to 25 treasurers all across the MUSA divisions, clubs, societies, and different departments. Listening to each and every single of their concerns and suggestions, and we have concrete plans to strengthen the systems they use regularly.
So, second, running the department with the discipline of a bank. One thing about bank is that they strive for efficiency, but be safe. So this is our vision, to streamline the financial process, yet enforce proper regulation for a centralized system, ensuring accountability and control. Third, aligning budget. We will use the budget committee to align the budget, the allocated budget of club, department, and division with their vision and mission. So, we stand here before you with a vision, a mission, and a goal to not change the system, but to improve it.
The other candidates can proceed.
Hi everyone, I'm Takuma.
I'm Yosuke.
We are running for head of finance because as finance student, we know how important finance is for every MUSA club and event. We hope to assist students in enjoying these events as head of finance. In terms of experience, this year I served as auditor under head of finance. This experience was so crucial for me to think about developing this organization from next year. During my internship, I worked on cost estimation and budgeting by researching past projects and getting quotation from other companies.
My experience of working at the startup company taught me the value of communication transparency. For me, communication and transparency are invaluable factors in making all decisions from the smallest to the largest.
Now we will talk about our manifesto. First, clear and fast communication. We will use communication tools, setting up remind systems, and have regular office hours to keep finance director easily reachable. Second, transparency. We aim to make all finances as clear and accessible as possible by reporting simply and openly. By doing so, we will build accountable governance and share any changes or improvements with students.
Third, empowering treasurers. We understand that processing document makes organizing event hard. We want every craft and society feel supported. To achieve that, we will organize treasurer bootcamps and create one-page cheat sheet. Finally, reliable systems. Our current financial system is crucial for financial department. We will make sure to have a member with technical background so that the whole financial system runs smoothly, handling any issue effectively. That's all from us.
Thank you, candidates. Before we proceed, just a quick reminder. The following segment, the structured debate, has two competing candidates. What will happen is that the existing office bearer will first start by putting forth a topic, issue, or use case. Both candidates will then have a 4-minute answering time. After that, you will also have a 2 minutes for rebuttal time to ask questions. So with that, I would like to pass it on to the existing office bearer, Dr. Wang, for this segment.
Thank you so much for the introduction, guys. Really nice to meet all of you. Before we get on to the questions, I want to let you guys know how it's going to go. For this session, both teams will be answering the same set of questions. However, the order will alternate. Meaning it's like if it is choose to answer first, they will go second the next round. Alright? Okay. So my first question is, even with clear finance guidelines, training sessions, and recordings, many office bearers still struggle with basic processes. If you were a finance director, how would you improve training so treasurers actually understand and routine the system? And how would you deal with those who barely know procedures? Would you enforce stricter accountability? Would you train them or take another approach? Can you please go first?
So, in terms of training, I will say that as a subcom for treasurer for MUIS and MYG, I do have the training for treasurer. And also in our first manifesto, we prioritize the feedback. So during the campaign period, we talked to I think around 25 treasurers, and we asked about their concern and all that. And one concern is training. So a plan that me and Nick has is to have an interactive training program. So instead of having a simple, let's say a simple workshop, let's say 1 or 2 hour, just grilling them with the basic of financial system, we want to have a Moodle-based training for treasurers. Essentially, yes, we will still have a workshop, an online workshop teaching the basic of the financial system, but we also will give them practice scenarios. The practice scenarios will be from the easiest to the basic, so they know from what to do in a scenario-based question from when they start working for BPs and FR.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will to address that kind of problem, especially about the complexity of the processing or the guidelines. We will host it, as we said in the manifesto. We will host treasurer bootcamp at the start of each semester to explain PRPO and reimbursement and budgeting in the simple term. We will also provide a one-page cheat sheet summarizing all the essential steps and contract. Additionally, guidance system like finance help desk, as we said, we will set the office hour for financial directors. This will encourage the communication with all the treasurers in every department of MUSA or MUS or crafts, so that we will communicate smoothly, so we can eliminate the small problem that can be a big problem.
If the same treasurer still makes basic mistakes after 2 rounds of reminders, what would you guys do next? It's a follow-up question.
Okay, thank you. So I understand how hard it is to all treasurers to process the document or prepare the document. We don't see mistakes as a big problem, but we see the mistakes as a nice teaching material for next time. So at first, the things we will do is communicate with that treasurer who made the mistake, so that we can see what is the cause of mistake, and at the same time we we can add that issue to our guideline so that next time he will not make the problem again. This is the way we will address that kind of problem.
Can I add on? So I think if the same director missed the reminder system, I think it's because the one of the reason is from communication. So that's why clearly mentioned in our manifesto, we're gonna set office hour as well, and also I want to set inclusive communication tool in all of some committee, other department, clubs. So it's gonna be very easy to reach every treasurer and every people.
Thank you.
Boktawer, do you mind repeating your question again?
Okay, so my follow-up question was, if the same treasurer is still making the same basic mistakes after a lot of reminders, what would you do next?
Okay, so as we mentioned, we will host very, I won't say intensive, but it's a very easy to approach style of learning, where we have we divide it into 3 sections. First, we will make a drive where we will make in-depth tutorials on how to really make all the financial documents properly. Second, we'll make an interactive Moodle style where treasurers have to submit all their documents properly. So this ensures that they know 100% how to actually fill in the documents, fill in BP correctly without any errors. And last but not least, we plan to implement an on-site all treasurers, CNS clubs including as well. We plan to make an intensive scenario-based questions for them so that they can really adapt to situations like that. But of course, to answer your question, if they were to still miss they were still do mistakes, it's not a problem for the FDs to really remind and do maybe another reminder or training session for them.
Okay, thank you. You guys have 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay, so my question for you guys is, love your idea on the bootcamp. But again, I think the current year, I'm sure that Boktawer and Janani is already implementing a finance trading. They have a Zoom call where they do in-depth explaining everyone what to do and everything like that. So my question is, let's say, take a unit, for example. Let's say just put treasurer as a one unit. And there's, let's say, 4 weeks of lectures, right? And you put all that into one bootcamp. I'd say it's very inefficient for treasurers to actually absorb those knowledge in such a short time span, because as you know, everyone has different learning curves. Everyone learn at their own paces. So in case for me and Jovids, we actually take it separately. We divide it into sections where it will be easier for them to learn online first, and then next they can learn from our Moodle style questions. They can learn at their own pace, and on the on-site we will do like a seminar kind of learning. So what's your take on that?
Thank you for the question. We also like your idea of making the module for the treasury unit. So what I think in here is having for 4 or 5 sessions in the semester might be hard for some treasurers to attend, since we have such a busy schedule in the semester. So for the bootcamp, what we are thinking is to do the really basic things, how to submit the document or what process gonna be. This is really basic thing, yes, of course. So in addition to that, what we will introduce is one-page cheat sheet. This will help you to understand how to process what you have to do, when you have to do, and how to process the document. So what I think is like preparing that kind of document to all the treasurer in every division or every craft can help treasurers to understand the process. Also, even if they cannot attend to their session, bootcamp, or maybe for schedules or something, they can easily find that document first and then see and compare with their own document, so they can clearly check their document whether that contain the problem or not. So yes, maybe one session of bootcamp is not enough. So cheat sheet, one-page cheat sheet, gonna be our solution for that.
Yeah, you guys still have 52 seconds to ask questions.
Hello. Okay. So you mentioned a one-page cheat sheet. Now, the finance department and the financial system of MUSA itself is very complex. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do. So here in my hand is the finance training. So you're trying to put everything, the EC, the CR, the vendor registration, the vendor payment, the grab voucher, and all that into one page. So how are you ensuring all the important detail are going to be there in one page, especially with such a complex and large system?
And to add on a follow-up question, the remark that you made about just basic training for the early in the semester, because as you know, you probably know, you're an auditor yourself. Clubs, like CNS clubs and MUS themselves, like me and Joe Vincent right now, we have orientation events coming up literally like this October. So literally at the start of the semester, it's very early on, and we actually need actual proper training, not just basic training.
Yeah. Question first.
That's it. Yes, Steve.
You guys have 2 minutes to ask questions, by the way, the independent body. You guys have questions?
Okay, so my question is, even though you guys have so many boot camp, right? From last semester, and in total 5 or 4. So why, even though what you guys have so many boot camp, why this kind of program happen? Why this kind of
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So even though there are so many boot camp under head of finance, why still the program happen, and how you guys gonna address this problem?
So to answer your question, thank you for your question again. So as what I'm aware, asking 25 treasurers all across MUSA, we asked every single one of them, and the number of finance training they attend is 1. One is the start of the semester, start of the year, where they were given the opportunity to learn about how to fill up this finance training, and they were given this document as well. So what they complained was there was lack of scenario-based questions. Let's say an event is coming up to the deadline, and they're not sure how to create such documents on time, and etc. Because with finance director, it's all database decisions. So what we also came up with is as I told you, we divided into 3 sections. First, basic training, as what you guys have done as well, and a Moodle base where they can learn at their own pace, and last but not least, the scenario-based questions. So scenario-based seminars, sorry. So that's really a major point that treasurers need to have because that's a major concern. I can guarantee you that around 80% of treasurers that we ask, around that 25% actually have the same complaint. Thank you.
And also to add on to that point, as Monash students, sometimes we know that we look through back at the tutorial question or answer as well, right? So this is also a way for them to, like, if they forget how to make a BP, or let's say a certain scenario happen and they forget, like, oh, what do I do for this scenario for the BP and FR? They have it already to Google Drive. They have the tutorial answer for that scenario. So it's last time for them to essentially think of what to do. So they start making, so instead they start making the BP straight away and the event can happen.
So during campaigns period, me and Yosuke talk with 2023 finance director and also 2024 finance director, and then they emphasize communication. So we want to. So that's why we, put communication factor in our manifesto.
So why we emphasize communication is also from as Takuma said, 2023 and 2024 finance director mentioned about that. The reason why they mentioned about that was every single problem can be happen from the very, very, very simple and easy question. And yes, having the 4 session for the basic and the model based and the scenario based is, I think, the brilliant idea. But still, I think maybe there is some kind of frequent question, so you guys can set the question scenarios. But still, it's just a scenario. So to address every scenario that will have that will occur in the next year, we will set the office hour so that all treasurer can actually come to the office and talk with us. That's the way we will solve the problem, not just by looking at the frequent question or the question that can be happen. Now, what we really have to address is the question that we have now, not the question that happened before or just a frequent question, frequent problems. So to address this kind of problem, we will set the office hour for finance directors so that we can smoothly communicate with other treasurers. That's the way we address that kind of problem.
Okay, I think let's move on to the next question. All right. Okay. So my next question is, as this year's finance director named me, you worked hard to make things smoother and more efficient compared to last year, though of course there were still areas of improvement. From your perspective, what do you think was one major issue this year, and how would you handle or improve it if you were finance director next year? Can the independent body go first?
So, to this kind of major issue, we are plan to make reliable system which include automation and reminder system. So, I think the one question is how we're gonna make sure reliable system. We're gonna adopt the one technical person as audit as subcommittee who's come from BA or CS student. So that's why we can make sure this reliable system.
To add on some, one thing I heard of, one kind of issue that I heard of from Takuma as a current auditor is that the finance department fund tracker stopped once in this semester, and I Yeah. So, as we said in the manifesto, we believe that our fund tracker system is crucial for the finance department. And then what we think from that is what Takuma just said, to have the technical staff in our team so that we can address to the event address to the problem smoothly. So what we say reliable system. Reliability means every craft society and department can trust that the system will work when they need it. So I think one major issue of this finance year is that we have the problem in their fund worker, and to address that, we will maintain the reliable system and also have the one technical staff in our team.
Okay, that is a follow-up question. The system that you guys are gonna build, right? You guys have water for it, and what issue is it gonna solve?
Excuse me? One more time.
Okay, you said that you wanna build an automated system, right? The thing is that even though we are providing the most basic guidelines, that is not being followed. So how do you think an automated system will be followed and people could comprehend that easily when the most basic things right now are like not being taken into account? Because it is new for everyone, right? And it takes time to comprehend all the processes. So how is a much more complicated system better? And that automated system, right, what is it actually for?
So the basic about remind system for treasurer, that we will introduce the system that reminds them that 1 month before deadline, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, etc. So by doing so, the treasurer can clearly see what they need to do when. So about reminder system for subcommittee, we will introduce the system to remind them after certain period passed from last check. So we believe this can eliminate the possibility of overlooking submission. So
So I think I had some. I think like if let's say you build one system and you think it's reliable and you can trust that system, but still maybe there will be some problem, as you said. I think. So what we will do is we will implement a proactive maintenance schedule and then conduct RS system checking before their peak session, like a Monash Ball, before Monash Ball or before cultural night or something. So during major event, our technical member can stay on standby to resolve issue immediately. We will also plan to create a quick response reporting form so that any issue can be flagged and fixed without disrupting our financial workflow.
Personally, I feel like it overcomplicates the existing system. But moving on, who's gonna build this model? Like, you guys, are you gonna do it?
I don't think we can build this system. But so far, I'm thinking about we're gonna adopt the subcommittee to to build this system.
Alright, thank you guys. Okay, let's move on to the quiz.
Okay, so based on the question of the main issue that there is this semester, right? So when me and Nick during the campaign period talked to almost 25 treasurers, one of the issue that they tell us was communication. Now, we understand that this semester there's a WhatsApp community group chat for treasurers. So we plan to continue that. However, we also plan to improve that. So we want to improve it so that there's a more direct line with the FD and also the auditor themselves. So we want to make our subcom more involved within the group chat. So uh, let's say MUIS is making an event and they're submitting their BP. Now their BP, let's say there's mistake or something like that. The auditor themselves can straight away in the group chat say, "Oh, hi, you have a mistake here, mistake here, mistake here." So instead of like having to email them or commenting in the BP themselves, a straight direct line can be given.
And this idea of us is actually inspired from my department itself, CRO, because currently CRO under me and Dylan, we allocate one country representative officer subcom to each country. So they're more aligned with what's going on right now. So the treasurer themselves from clubs or divisions can just directly contact them in case there's any auditing issues they're facing. So it's better line of communication. And the point of this group chat is not for us to micromanage the auditors. Auditors are still independent with our supervision. But the goal is just to make a more efficient communication stream with us and the auditors as well as the treasurers. Yeah.
Okay, so on the group chat, right, there's some things that are very confidential. So that's why we did not get the auditors involved. So still, if we cannot get them involved, how else would you tackle their issues?
Okay.
We also had a Telegram group with the auditors where we did lay down every problem, and it still didn't work out.
So, okay, for that one, we can have a separate group chat. Now, I know there gonna be a lot of group chat and all that, but having an efficient and a good communication channel will help the finance department a lot.
And to add on from that, one of the issues we're trying to really solve right now is with some of the treasurers are currently when, let's say, your subcoms are handling the vendor payments and there's some issue with the BP themselves. Some of them are raising an issue that sometimes it took them a long time to realize, oh, we actually need to fix this. There's a comment in the docs, but we didn't realize that. Some of your subcoms, like Takuma himself, good impression from you. You actually email people, right, for auditing mistakes. So we would like to make this streamlined and make like a proper guideline, a proper SOP, standard of operations, where we need the auditors to actually type it in the group chat, separate group chat, auditors and the confidential, we can just stay at FD and treasurers, but there's a separate group chat for auditors and some specific treasurers, a few clubs maybe in one group chat. Then we can say like, okay, your BP is done, there's some mistakes, you can directly fix it. So it's direct communication really.
Okay. Every issue that Takuma raises, right, he emails them and I personally text on those groups with the departments. So that communication is still happening and there's still issues.
Yes, so currently what we're asking the treasurers from what we really ask from them, they actually do not get the message because some of them, they say like, it's just commented on the docs and the auditor didn't really message them. So like it has a delay timing for them to really fix it, if that makes sense for you.
Alright. 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay, so wanted to ask something, but of course, Baktawar, you're out of my mind about the automation. So other than that, want to ask a similar question to you. So fund tracker, of course, Koki, the previous finance director, and you said something about recruiting subcoms from BA units. But a thing that is concerning is BA units are actually for analyzing data. And if you're not aware, because I have access to Fund Tracker myself, the tracker that Koki created is coded with JavaScript, nothing that you actually learn in BA. BA, you learn to code with R, with other things. In your Fund Tracker, it's actually coded with JavaScript, something I actually do code in. So thing is, what I want to ask you, so if you rely so much on your subcoms, yes, I feel like there's such a huge knowledge gap between you and your own subcoms, since your own subcoms obviously probably do not have experience in, they probably haven't even seen the fund tracker. Whereas yourself, Koki, you're a subcom, you probably have seen the fund tracker every day for a year. So there's a huge knowledge gap. So if you want them to actually, if you can find a subcom that can code in such a way that Koki does, it's gonna be still very difficult for them to really adjust it to what you want, because having a subcom that is knowledgeable like yourself and be able to code like Koki is very difficult. But for myself, I've actually seen Koki's code, and it's something that I could program it. So just a question for you that.
So it's about the subcom that we're gonna have, and also the automation about the fund tracker. What we were saying is it's not like the current fund tracker is bad or something that cannot be used or something like that. We said since we see the importance of the fund tracker or automation through seeing the current fund tracker, what we are saying is we can maintain the basics of the current fund tracker, of course. So what we can do, I think, is maybe some comp there that we will hire doesn't have knowledge about fund tracker. It's actually same as me. I don't have any knowledge about fund tracker because I didn't work for the auditor in the head of finance. This is also the reason why I'm learning for the head of finance, because I don't have any experience in this division. And then I also think, so because I don't have any experience right now, I can introduce some new and simple guidelines to subcoms. And also, when we contact with 2023 finance director Koki, we talked with him, and then we already talked with him, and he said he will help us if we need it. So So I think lack of knowledge from the subcom, the future subcom, is not a big problem, but we can solve together. Also, about the coding or the current system, we will not like throw away all of that, but we will just improve that based on that. That's gonna be our way of addressing this.
Additionally, I have two things. The first that you mentioned about the huge gap between head of finance and subcommittee who has technical skill, right? So huge knowledge can be eliminated by learning, this knowledge, right? So that's why, of course, the daily routine, we have so many tasks to address. But other than that, me and Yosuke will try to learn the coding, you said JavaScript, right? And also looking at the fund tracker, backend system, there is a comment in Japanese. So, right, did you look at that?
Of course.
So in Japanese, you guys cannot understand. So we can understand. So I think that's the one way of we should try address this problem. And second is what we emphasize today is communication. So huge gap to get knowledge. We have to communicate with subcommittee who has technical skill. So that's why we're gonna try to maintain communication.
just a short reply. I'm not asking any questions, but to answer your question, the notes in Japanese are actually just notes. The actual script is still in English, so there's no problem with me understanding the codes. And I see a huge reliance on you with Koki, but honestly speaking, I know Koki's a great person, but Koki doesn't actually have the rights, the obligations to actually help you. So he can actually just he doesn't have the obligations to really help you at all times. So maybe times where he's busy and the fund tracker do have emergencies. So it's gonna be a huge problem for someone like you if you run for a finance director that doesn't know how to fix it or rely on subcom to fix it. Just a statement.
You guys have 2 minutes to ask questions also for the panel body.
So our question is, so far we talk about the program in Fund Tracker, right? Other than this program, it's kind of a big program, but what kind of program in Fund Tracker did you get in this year?
Sorry. What we are thinking to ask you guys was we talk about the system, fund tracker system as one major problem of this year. If you guys have any, if you guys can think of any other major issues that that you have this year and you were thinking of addressing it for the next year, do you guys have some kind of problem about that?
So you mentioned about the lack of reliable system this year. So this year, if I'm right, the FD are implementing a lot of new system. So that might be a point of what you mentioned, what you mean by it, like, oh, there's not really a reliable system, but that's because the FD are inputting a lot of new system into it. And from our point, what we're gonna input is essentially we're not gonna change the entire system. We're just improving what is, good, to what is to best essentially. But we're also planning on implying the financial ledger that CNS is using right now. I don't know if you know about this, but we also talked to the FD about it, and they mentioned that they have already tried to implement the financial ledger, but not yet officially. So we want to officially input or use the financial ledger for the entire MUSA division. We also want to put in a MUSA budget proposal tracker. So essentially, this is going to be a new sheet in the fund tracker. So we're not going to make a new entire system, a new entire tracker. It's going to be in the same tracker, so it's going to be simple for everyone. But essentially, treasurers can input their BP into it. Now, they input their BP, so that now the auditors can check the BP, of course, right? But also, this is another way for the treasurer themselves to know the status of the BP checking, whether it's approved, checking, rejected, or haven't been checked. Yes. So this have been implemented in MUIS. So I have have experience in it with the MUIS budget proposal tracker. So yeah, I do understand that this is a new thing. However, with experience in it, I know that it is possible to do.
And to summarize it up, we're not changing things, we're not making a new thing, we're improving and taking suggestions from others that are better than us.
Thank you. I think you mentioned about introducing the finance ledgers in the system. I think that's the way that we can improve the current system. At the same time, I think introducing this system takes a lot of time, and all the members have to get used to that. And I think it gonna also take a time. I want to know we are also saying about the new system and the improvement system. But if you guys don't mind, I want to ask what kind of how do you think to get used to new system for new treasurer or the current members?
Absolutely. Thank you for your questions. So there's two parts of the questions. First is how will you implement it? As I said, it's a current thing that we're using. Financial ledger, CNS is using it. We're just implementing it to all of MUSA. And secondly, the BP tracker. BP tracker is something that the treasurer head Irza right now, she's already using it. BP tracker. So we're just taking that template and putting it in MUSA Finance Director, the MUSA Finance Department. So it's easier for everyone to really check their BPs. Yeah.
Thank you. What you're saying is your current department and the MUSA finance directors, the system that we are using in the MUSA and MERS is different. I think there should be some reason why MUSA is not using financial ledgers or BB trackers. Do you think what do you think, guys, about why MUSA is not using BB tracker and financial ledger now?
Okay, so this one I actually asked Janani about it. I asked Janani, why is only CNS using the financial ledger? And she mentioned that she wanted to implement it, but there's a lot of new paperwork that need to be handled. So that's why she is not implementing it yet. But then she also mentioned that she wanted to implement it and has implemented, but it's not officially. So yeah.
And of course, to clarify his statement, current finance directors Janani and Baktawar has already so much responsibilities on their shoulders this year. I'm pretty sure the start of this year, there's so much problems that they have to encounter and handle. So this is something that I'd say a slight improvement, a minuscule improvement that we can actually take for the MUSA finance. And it's actually something that Janani want to implement, but just didn't have time because she has other responsibilities to do in the finance department.
Okay guys, no time for rebuttal. I'll go to the next question. Okay. Beyond day-to-day transactions, finance also plays a role in budget planning and long-term financial health for MUSA. What's one thing you'd like to implement next year immediately as soon as your tenure starts that could help future finance teams as well? Something that you haven't thought of or haven't implemented correctly or needs changing? Like the first step you'll take as soon as you get the position. Who went first the last time?
Did you go first or
You go first. Yeah. So what's the first thing that me and Nick, if elected, we want to implement to the MUSA financial system? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we mentioned the MUSA budget proposal tracker. That's something that we want to straight away implement. So that we understand that in the beginning of the year, clubs, division and department, they have to start making the BPs for the event for SEM 1 or sometimes even for SEM 2. So that's what we want to implement straight away. So that it's a way for treasurer to upload their budget proposal to audit, and will streamline the budget proposal approval process and allow treasurer to know the status of the approval process. So it's a much more easier way, a simpler way for treasurer to understand or to know the status of their BP, so they can straight away use it for EMS approval as well.
And again, to conclude this point, so we are trying to implement this improvement on the systems, like micro improvement on the systems as soon as possible, because the sooner you do it, the more convenient it is for the treasurers, the less problems they're gonna have, the less errors that you will need to audit, the more time that you will have to fix on other problems. You can spend more time on other problems instead. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The independent body.
So I want to emphasize the communication in terms of this, because from beginning of this year, the new year, to end of year, we have to work with the almost same people, same department people. So to communicate, to work with properly with them, we need more like confidence and reliable. So that's why I want to communicate more and more at the first time, and then get to know each other in physical and online.
I will add some more. So, uh, I think it will take a time to understand the process of their fund tracker or their budget proposal. So to understand that clearly, again, we said about mention about the bootcamp as you guys talk about their module-based, scenario-based sessions. What we were thinking about the in the treasure bootcamp is that we will introduce the session that we can also talk with the experienced person in their in finance department, so that we can talk with them. Then that was the hard part, or how they get used to the system, so that the newcomers to the finance department can also communicate with the experienced person and also understand the way we will work in the finance division or treasurers in the crafts. So communication and having the bootcamp is the way we will solve that kind of problem.
Okay. Follow-up question, guys. Communication has already been talking about, right? My question is, what is one way to implement it into the system? If you're introducing the entire budget flow tracker on its own, right? What is it that you guys are doing apart from communication?
Other than communication, right? So again, we want to emphasize the automation reminder system for both treasurer of clubs and member of finance department. So about reminder system for treasurer, we will introduce the system that reminds them 1 month before deadline, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, etc. By doing so, treasurer can clearly see what they need to do and when. About the remind system for subcommittee, we will introduce the system to remind them after a certain period passed from last check. So we believe this can eliminate the possibility of overlooking submission and also program.
Thank you, guys. You guys have 2 minutes to rebuttal.
So, okay. So before you mentioned that you say you're gonna take time to learn the financial system, is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. However, a concern that I have is the handover period. If elected, right, you're gonna be elected, and then there's gonna be a 1 month handover period or 2 months. However, in that time, you will have to already make the budget for the next year, and it's already written in the constitution itself that you have to prepare or already have the budget 2 weeks before the first MSC, or I think 2 weeks in the first month of the year. So how are you gonna ensure that you have enough time to understand the full system of MUSA? And it's very complex system as well. So how are you ensuring that you learn everything? And of course, as the FD, you're one of the executive committees. You will have to know the entire financial system from up to bottom. And usually, if there's problem with financial, let's say the MUIS treasurer has problem with the finance, they go to the FD because again, the FD is executive committee of MUSA, and they have to know every single thing about the financial system. So how are you ensuring that you know this entire system in just 1 month?
So, thank you for question. So, in terms of understanding whole process, whole workload, in this year I work as auditor under the back wall. So, in terms of PRPO and the kind of grab voucher, I can say I can handle this job. And then in terms of other workload, after this election done, and then after we become the head of finance, as soon as possible, we're gonna try to get the knowledge, get the adapt the subcommittee, and then inclusively we're gonna try to learn the whole system and about MUSA, head of finance.
So, a follow-up question to that. Now, Takuma, you are part of MUSA. How about Yosuke? You mentioned that yourself you weren't a part of MUSA and also you weren't a part of the financial department this year. How are you ensuring that, again, we're running as both, the head of finance is two people running. How are you ensuring that one of the FD is not lacking in knowledge while the other one is having or didn't have knowledge in it?
As I said, and also you mentioned just now, yes, I have. I didn't work at the MUSA or any related finance department this year. So this is the point I'm lacking in this election, this position. I already understand that. And then the first thing I can ask is just help, I think. So I think I'd like to ask the current finance directors about some question that I cannot understand, maybe. And also, what I think in this is, yes, this is really complex. The guideline you have, maybe it's really hard to understand them. One of the reason that I think is all the rules or all the regulations are stated in the sentence. So it's a bit hard to think, actually imagine or illustrating in our head how to process that. That's the main reason why we are thinking about introducing a one-page cheat sheet that includes the illustration. So that by doing that, we can clearly see what we have to do. And also, you mentioned that I don't have any experience in this. I think that can be my, maybe this is my disadvantage, of course. And at the same time, that can be my advantage because as I just said, the guideline is not so clear as I've seen that because I don't have any background before. So what if there is someone who want to be a part of the finance department, like subcommittee? So will you just exclude them because of lack of experience? I don't think that's nice to do that. So what I think we should do is to make the clear guideline or how to set the training for them so that the people who want to participate in this organization, they can start their new career or new way of like they can actually do what they want to do. And what I want to do is to support them in the for the future finance committee finance members.
Okay, you mentioned that, of course, if the subcom do not have knowledge in it, it is fine. However, you're running for the financial director. You're handling, like before in the opening statement that Nick said, multiple hundred of thousands of ringgit, a six-figure budget. How are you gonna learn the entire system in just a few minutes, in a few months? Again, the subcom, well, of course, we're not gonna expect them to know the entire system, of course, but as the FD, we have to know the entire system. So how are you ensuring that you know the entire system? especially as an executive committee of MUSA.
And to clarify again, this is not just simply an office bearer position, maybe in MUIS or CNS. This is executive committee, the highest position in MUSA that you can actually go for. So you said maybe it's mean that maybe someone who doesn't have experience can do it, but it's the harsh reality. You actually need to know the back end work and you need to have the experience to do it. As hard as it sounds, it's the reality.
So okay. I didn't mean to say mean at first. So the thing I can say now is I will study really hard more than you guys. This is the things I will do if I've. I think that this is the things I can start from now actually, and also while studying the kind of thing, the process or the guideline, as I said, I can also learn what is unclear and what can be improved. So. Yes, there are things I can say now. I'm studying. I will study. I will keep learning. Ancora and Palo, I guess. So, yes, that's the things I can say now.
Can I ask a question? Yes. Okay.
Wait, sorry. I think we have.
If we have no time left for rebuttal, we move on to
No.
we can have one time left for rebuttal.
So my question is, so Yosuke doesn't have experience in working MUSA or MUIS. Yeah, of course, but I have, and you guys have experience in working MUSA and MUIS. So, but I think this kind of knowledge gap between me, us, and you guys is not so huge. So you guys also have lacking of knowledge in terms of head of finance. So how you guys gonna try to catch up and get the knowledge in job of head of finance?
You were talking about gap of knowledge between us, and I believe that there are. I am currently an office bearer and CRO, so I also maybe I'm not in treasure, but I do see BPs. Everything I do still see it. It's a current thing, and I even do CEMS as well for events, community events. So I still see and handle that. And for Jovin, even though he's a subcommittee, mind you, he also is a subcommittee for two different things, a club and a division. So he knows the practical experience in both as a treasurer in clubs as well as division level. So if you're asking if there's a gap, no knowledge, there is. I believe that there is. So
Yes, there is, but still, you guys not being head of finance, right? So you guys don't know a whole workload of head of finance. How are you guys gonna catch up everything?
Again, me and Nick has the experience, especially I have the practical experience. I understand in the club level how a treasury work. I understand in the division level how a treasury work. So I have that knowledge. Now, practical experience, I have it. Me, Nick, I have it. But knowledge, theoretical knowledge, we can learn it. Of course, Yosuke, you can learn it. Of course, everyone can learn it. It's simple, right? If you have the motivation, you can learn it. But again, what we cannot learn is the practical experience.
and yeah, again, it's back and forth. I don't want to sound like we're boasting or whatever, but again, practical experience is really, really crucial in terms of finance departments. Yeah, so that's all I can say for you guys.
Do you guys have more questions?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we talk about our own lecture pretty much. So I want to ask you about the like having while your working period. I think you mentioned about the feedbacks from the treasurers in the manifesto. How do you plan to collect and utilize feedbacks effectively from the treasurers, officers, and subcommittee to improve financial processes in your working period?
So for clarity, do you mean how the treasurer themselves are going to give the feedback?
I meant how will you guys utilize their feedback to your own work or to the finance department?
Or how we're utilizing the feedback? Okay. So again, me and Nick have already talked to about 25 treasurers during the campaign period, right? And we already have a concrete plan. Essentially, how we're going to utilize them is we're going to talk to them, we're going to understand how their emotion is, how their experience is. And there's a lot of ideas from all of them. So we're going to utilize them. We're going to see, okay, here's the good, here's the bad, right? And we try to make it as if it's all good, right? A little bit bad, but again, all good.
How we're going to implement it, we are already doing it. We're already giving plans, concrete plans, like the BP tracker inspired from WIS, Financial Ledger, inspired from CNS. The thing we mentioned about the WhatsApp community group chats to slightly improve communications even further. That's something that we already have. And also, just for context, we actually already have a demo tracker ready to run. Now, once we get elected, we just need to paste it on the drives and it's all good to go. So if you're asking how to implement, we're already implementing it.
I have still 30 seconds to ask questions.
So you guys mentioned about the feedbacks that you got from the 25, treasurers in this campaign period. So I think not only now, while we are working, we will get our bunch of feedbacks from the treasurers, and then I believe you cannot implement all of them. Like you just said, the current head of finance wanted to introduce the BP tracker, but they couldn't. Finance ledgers, but they couldn't. I think there will be some difficulties in implementing new system during your working period, not before your working period. How will you guys address this?
Do we have that? Do you mind clarifying just in one sentence your question again? Do you mind clarifying?
How will you guys address the issues that the coming issues, not the issue you already know, but while you're working, you will face some difficulties and feedbacks from the treasurers. How will you guys address that? If you cannot introduce new system, how will you guys explain to the treasurers why you cannot introduce that new system?
Sorry, I still don't quite understand your questions. You're asking why the treasurer would have difficulty when we implement the new system? Is that what you're saying? Because we're not implementing a new system. It's a system that we actually have implemented in different divisions. We're just bringing it to large scale, from a small scale division to a large scale division. So that's what we're implementing.
Yes, what I'm saying is you will also get the feedback while you're working in your working period, like next year. So, and then I think there will be some difficulties that you cannot introduce or you cannot utilize their feedbacks.
Okay, I'll answer your question. So we can do it in MSC, Monash Student Council. We can do it in AGM. Treasurers can the OBs, the treasurers can pass their feedbacks to the OBs, and they can actually address it in MSC. And if you're saying that we'll have difficulties in addressing these feedbacks while we're working, so are you indirectly saying that we shouldn't accept feedbacks while you're working? Because that's what I'm getting from you. So would you mind to clarify maybe?
So what I'm saying is although we can introduce new, we can utilize our feedback from the treasurers, but as you said, the current head of finance can implement the fund tracker, BP tracker, and the financial ledgers. There will be the difficulties is in implementing or utilizing the feedback. I'm not saying you should not accept everything, but I'm saying there will be the difficulties in implementing or utilizing feedback. How will you guys deal with all the feedback from all the treasurers?
Yes, the difference with us if we're elected and maybe let's say Janani and Baktaur has different problems that they have to face last year. So that's the cause of the reason why they are not implementing things like financial ledger for CNS, why they're not implementing it for MUSA. It's because that they have different responsibilities and problems that they have to face this year, I mean. So to answer your question, we have different problems each year. So this year particularly, we're trying to streamline everything so it's more efficient, so that there's minimizing chances of error and problems created for us, making us more problems to face as FDs. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your answers. Let's move on to Q&A from you. Right, so the first question is, you are faced with claims of bias and discrimination due to the point that division or department refuses to work or follow our guidelines. As due to that, how will you navigate?
Alright, I'll be taking the live Q&A. So, here's the question. You are faced with claims of bias and discrimination to the point that divisions or departments refuse to work or follow guidelines. How will you navigate that? So just to reiterate, keywords is the claims of bias and discrimination, and that affects the work between divisions or departments refusing to follow your guidelines as head of finance or finance director, and how would you navigate that?
As I understand, the budget proposal have to be processed to the certain process. If there is the student who don't want to follow that guideline, the other things we can do is to just communicate with them why they don't want to follow that guideline. Because if they don't follow the guideline, we cannot accept that things, because they have to follow the guideline. To navigate them, maybe they don't want to follow the guideline because it's too complicated to understand or to process. So what we have to do is to communicate with them why they don't want to follow the guideline, why they think it's irrelevant or that the guideline doesn't have any barrier or something. So what we can do is to communicate with them. Again, this is the very important part of our work, I believe. The communication is one of the invariable factor of making decision that I think that can help navigating them in the guided way.
Additionally, after getting feedback and communicate with them, And then if we feel so fair, we also welcome to change this kind of guidance to make this guidance easy to understand.
Equitas?
Justin, can you repeat the question again, please?
Okay, sure. You are faced with claims of bias and discrimination. So, to the point that the division and department refuses to follow or work or follow your guidelines. So, what will you do in this scenario? How will you navigate?
Okay, so every office bearer in MUSA, they will follow the handbook and constitution. And one of the stuff written in the handbook itself is a code of conduct. This is what all office bearer must follow. So if the office bearer is biased, that means they are breaking the code of conduct, and a warning letter can be given to them.
Additionally, if divisions are not following the guidelines, I'm not sure if you have the handbook or constitution, but I'll read it out to you. Part 5, Office Bearers of MUSA. Number 19, subclause 1. All office bearers are to abide by the laws of the MUSA within Part 4 of the MUSA handbook. Any violations towards the bylaws of the MUSA handbook is liable to any disciplinary actions stated within this constitution. So any overrule of the constitution or handbook will result in disciplinary action from General Secretary. So, how to answer your question, divisions are actually not allowed rules-wise to actually cross the guidelines. And of course, if anything that's wrong on our side from the financial directors, maybe then we'll discuss it with President and General Secretary, of course.
Speaking of your President and General Secretary, the next question is addressed to that regard. What if your exco or President asks you to go against the guidelines in the interest of himself or putting events first? What will you do? So I think maybe Equitas can go first since Independence went first as well.
There's not much to say on this. As executive committee, we not only GenSec, we are supposed to uphold constitution as well. So whatever the finance directors do, even though it's database decisions, we are supposed at all times 24/7 abide by the constitution. So anything that doesn't align with the constitution, we will not allow that. So that answers your question.
I also don't have much to say. Finance directors are responsible for the finance or the finance related information or decision. If the president or the general secretary ask us to go against the guideline or contract or handbook, the things we can say is we cannot do that. We will work based on the guideline. We will work based on the handbook. We will work for the benefit for the student or the student in Monash, not for the president or junior secretaries. We will work for student as the head of finance.
Right, thank you, candidates. The last question from the live Q&A, seeing as time is a bit short. When it comes to dictating financial procedures, how far are you going to defend it in the event most of the claims, purchases, and purchase order are getting cancelled? So I think I can repeat this one since this is a bit technical. When it comes to dictating financial procedures, how far are you going to defend it in the event most of the claims, purchases, and purchasing orders are getting cancelled?
In terms of can do the budget committee again, utilizing the budget.
This is the
MSC.
which will we prioritize. So emergency items first. If it's like next week, we prioritize. And then next one we prioritize the instantly.
Yeah. I did. Not first.
We will group of its importance, significance. It's easy.
So I think this is the kind of problem we have to think about the transparency and accountability. Uh, 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 I think what we can do is we will publish the simplified and summarized report to them. Why we, if we reject the request, why we reject the request, and if we approve, why we approve that request. What we think about is when we say the transparency and accountability in our work, for the transparency, this is not about the overwhelming student by a bunch of numbers, but it's about the context, I think. We will provide a simplified report with the element. I think that can be the how funds were used and why decisions were made, and what improvement and resulted occurred by that event or with that request. For example, like instead of just stating like this much of money for this much this event, we can say why we need that money, why we approve that request, and why we reject that request. I think it's essential to explain why we think that and how we think that and what can be the best benefit for the MUSA and our student.
Okay, so our answer to the question will be rule of thumb. Anything emergency like that, we hold emergency meeting with executive committee. We discuss what's the correct procedure of action that's supposed to be taken. But if you were to ask us what we will do as finance director ourselves, first, of course, treasurers divisions will be enriched by this information. A lot of fund request cancellation will, of course, need explanation. So we'll go up to Monash Finance, ask, okay, why is the fund request getting cancelled? So there must be a problem from their side. Then we explain communication. So make sure that all treasurers are up to date, know what's going on, and we'll calm them down a bit. But next rule of thumb, we're gonna do the requests in order of the fund request cancelled. So let's say event 1 is cancelled first, we're gonna prioritize that first. But again, this is very situational based. Let's say there's a big event like Monash Ball happening next week. So that's something really urgent event that we need to prioritize in terms of fund requests that they're asking for. So we'll prioritize emergency events. Then next, we're gonna go in order on the fund request that has been cancelled by Monash Finance. Hope that answers your question.
All right, thank you, candidates. So with that, in the interest of time, we will not be accepting any more questions. I'd now like to pass it back to candidates for your closing statements. I think since I could ask mine earlier, maybe the independents can start this time.
So first of all, we'd like to thank our returning officer, our current head of finance, and our competitors moderating this debate that gives us the opportunity to convey our message and intentions into put out our thought and ideas.
Running for this position, we would like to assure that we are more than willing to give our best capabilities in comparison this responsibility of head of finance to try our best to maintain an appropriate budget allocation, proper tracking of fund, and transparency with fine communication among treasurers. And we will try our best to make future refinement and improvement on things that we see necessary, and other than the technical and the communication things, we will also emphasize teamwork and engagement because it plays a crucial role to motivate team members and prevent miscommunication. So I think that's all from us. If any of you guys have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you.
If me and Jovin had to leave you all with one thing, we will leave you with this. We are not here to completely change the system, but to make good better and better the best. Throughout this campaign, we have shown you our vision as a finance department that listens, improves, and support. We believe that leadership is not about reinventing everything, but about taking what exists and making it better, stronger, and more reliable for the people who depend on it. First, we want to stress the importance of transparency. We propose a financial ledger for every treasurer, every club, and every department, ensuring clarity and trust in the numbers. No one should ever feel left in the dark when it comes to finances. Transparency is the foundation of accountability. Second, we are committed to efficiency. By implementing a MUSA budget proposal tracker, we will cut down delays and make the process faster, smoother, and less stressful for treasurers. Efficiency does not mean rushing. It means making every step of the process smarter and more reliable.
Third, we value people. System and process only work if people feel supported and heard. This is why we will make sure the entire department, auditors, office bearers, and treasurers are more involved. We will provide interactive learning experience for new treasurers so they feel confident, capable, and well equipped from day one. And finally, we will build relationship. Because number alone do not create trust, communication does. But by being open at every step and engaging constantly with treasurers, we will foster a community that work together. Our vision is to run the finance department with the discipline of a bank: efficiency, safe, and structure, while also aligning budget across club, department, and division so that resources are fair and goals are met. So if you remember only one thing today, let it be this: Nicholas and Joven are here to improve, not replace, to listen, not ignore, to build, not divide. Together, we can shape a finance department that is transparent, efficient, and people-focused. And doing so, we can strengthen MUSA for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you once again to all candidates, office bearer, and audience for your time and participation. We hope that you found this session insightful and engaging. Before we end, here are some important dates to remember. The voting period will take place between the 13th of October to the 17th of October 2025, and the vote will take place via the official Monash e-voting platform, with more details to be shared soon. To stay updated, follow us on our Instagram, and you can also catch the rest of the debates on the MUSA YouTube channel. So thank you once again for being here and participating in this debate, and we wish you all a great day ahead.